Hi guys, this is Catherine, and today I'm going to be teaching you how to do a composite image. This is for my honors program at Estrella Mountain Community College in Avondale, Arizona. And let's go over for a second what a composite image is. A composite is a multiple selection of images combined through the use of layers in Photoshop. So you'll have multiple images stacked on top of each other via layers, and it will create one final amazing picture. And that's what I'll be showing you how to do right here using this picture. In the Valley of the Sun, we do have amazing photographers here that do some amazing composite work, and one right here in our own backyard in Avondale, Arizona is James Sasser, and this is one of his beautiful composites, and I'll be putting his information in at the end of the tutorial so you can go check out some of his work. He's just an amazing photographer here in the Valley, and I love his work, so go ahead and give him a shout out. Today we will definitely be using a couple tools that you're going to need to download before you can start. And the first thing you're going to need is a Gotham City wallpaper type image. And you can find these on Google Images. For this in particular one, I found in their stock photos. I do not own the rights to it, so I want to make sure that that's clear, that make sure you're getting an image that, nobody will have a problem with using. Usually they have a bunch in the free stock photo area of Google, so go ahead and grab those. And then you're going to need a pair of shoes. You can use these shoes or your own shoes, and I will have the link provided down below. You're going to need a Converse logo, and you're also going to need a sunshine brush, which you can get from Google Images as well. I'll give you an example of what that kind of looks like. Well, it'll be for this section right here, so you can see the light rays. But you can look at these real quick. I'll give you an example, and they look something like this. You can go to Google Images and type in free sun ray or sunshine brush rays, and go ahead and download those. And I'm going to give you a second to do that, and then we'll get started. Okay, welcome back. You should now have your 4 images open, your composite image, your shoe, your logo, and your landscape. And before I go much further, I just want to make sure that everybody knows that I do not have the Mac commands for this tutorial. I do know that you can substitute Alt and Command for the Control command on the PC. But that is the extent of my Macintosh experience. And sorry about that, but I hope you can still follow along. So we're going to start with our shoes, and we're going to go over here and we're going to click on the background lock. Just unlock that layer. And we're going to right click and we're going to go up and we're going to duplicate this layer. And go ahead and hit OK. And normally you would make this a smart object, but for this tutorial we're just going to duplicate the layer, because we're not going to be working on it that long. So our next step then is we're going to go ahead and go over here and grab our quick selection tool. So you'll right click here and then you'll come on over to the quick selection tool. And we're going to outline this shoe area in this box as best we can. So we're going to start here and we're just going to kind of come up, come down. And that looks pretty good. It actually outlined it fairly good. If you want to back it up a little bit, you can. You just hit your Alt button and it will decrease the area that you have selected. I'm going to come up here, come up to the edge, just clean that up a little bit. Want to make sure you get as much of that rays of light in there as you can. And then along the edge of your shoe, just kind of bring that around. And then just along the edge of the carpet is good too. So that's a pretty good selection. So what we're going to do next is we're going to go ahead and go over here to our paint bucket tool. And we're going to make sure our foreground is on black. And we're just going to come right in here and we're just going to click on it. And it's going to completely clear up that space. Once you've done that, we're going to go back to our layer mask down here. Actually, we're going to hit Control D to deselect just to see how that looks, and that looks pretty good. We got a good portion of it, but I do see some areas that we need to clean up. And we can do that as we go, or we can do that now. So I'm going to go ahead and get a layer mask started here. So we'll go over and we'll click on our layer 0, and we're going to go down and click on layer mask where it adds, and then we're going to select our brush. So you can do that here by selecting the brush key, or you can right click on your picture and it will also bring up the brush key. For this one, we're going to pick your standard hard round brush with a hardness of 0%, and then you can hit enter. And then you want to make sure your foreground and your background are on black and white. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go over here and we're going to kind of clean all this up. And if you notice, we're on black right now, which is going to bring the background back, which we don't want to do. So if you toggle with your X key, it changes. If you can see here, I'm just going to click over here. You can see that it changes black to white when you click on your X key. Can you see that? Black, white, black, white. We want to be on white for this. So we're going to fill this part in right here. I'm just going to go along the edge and clean it up a little bit. I'm going to go back to black. So I want to bring this back just a little bit. I got it a little too dark here and bring it in. Doesn't have to be perfect because we're going to fix it in a little while. Oops. Go just a little around the edge. A little bit. Just fixing that part right there. I'm actually not sure why that color didn't fill in, but what you can do here is click on your original and then just paint on it while your brush is still on black. You can just fill in that color real easy. There you go. Alright, so click back on your mask. We just want to make sure we're all cleaned up around here. I'm going to go back to white again. I want to make sure that I have every section of the shoe available to me because we want it to show up pretty good in here. So as close as you can get. I just toggle between the black and the white. That's pretty good. Alright, once you've done that and the background is all black, we're actually going to go to our cityscape section right here. So go ahead and click on that, and we're going to click on this little lock again to unlock the background. And for this, we're actually going to move this whole selection over onto our shoe layer. So the first thing you want to do, there's a couple different ways you can do this. You can hit Control A, and that will select your whole picture here. See how the little marching ants go around? Or you can duplicate, click on this and right click and hit Duplicate Layer, and you can go to Document, Destination, and click on Shoe, and then hit OK. Now if we go back over to our shoe layer, voila, there is our cityscape picture, and it added it to a new layer down here on the right hand side. So it's too small though, so we need to make it bigger. So what you're going to do here is hit Control T. You're going to take your shift button and you're going to hold the shift button down and drag this picture all the way over, all the way to the edge. And then you're going to take it right here and you're going to drag it all the way down. Now that does stretch the picture a little bit, and that's okay because this is just for fun. So once you've stretched your picture all the way out, you're going to hit the check mark, and that's going to commit this change. So go ahead and hit that. And you'll see that it didn't stretch it out too bad. It looks pretty good actually. So now the problem is that we can't see the shoe. In order to bring the shoe back, we are going to have to do a couple steps. So first we're going to go over here and we're going to click on our opacity, and we're going to bring that down to about 65%. 67-ish, somewhere in that area, 59, just enough to be able to see the shoe but have more like landscape here. So then the second thing we're going to do is we're going to click on layer mask, and we want to make sure we have our brush. So we'll go over here and click on brush, or you can right click and click on brush. And for this one we're going to use the soft round brush with a hardness of 0. Click enter, and that will set your brush. Go down and make sure your foreground is on black and white. And for this one we're going to start with black. So we're just going to start bringing back this shoe. I'm just going to go around the edges. And if you want to make your brush larger, you can use your right and left bracket keys. The right bracket key brings it up, and the left bracket key brings it down. So just go in here and start filling this in. Just outlining the shoe. You'll start seeing it come back here. All the way around the edge. Down here. This is going to take a little bit. You can take your time or you can go fast. Oops. And I made a mistake there. I went off the shoe, so I'm going to hit Control Z, and that's going to fix that for me. Also, if I made like 2 mistakes, you could do Control Alt Z, and that will go back a couple commands. But I only made 1 there, so we're just going to come around the edge, clean up the shoe. You can actually bring up in this whole area down here. Just kind of clean it up. Go around the inside of the edge. You can also control spacebar and zoom in. If you control spacebar, you can zoom in or zoom out by holding the left button on your mouse down, in and out. Or you can just hold the spacebar and left click and drag it around. So that helps you have a little bit of guidance with your tool there. Now I'm going to bring my brush down just a little bit. I'm just going to come up here and do these lines a little bit here. I don't want to bring back the whole box. You can see the box here, but I don't want to bring back the whole thing. So now Control 0 will fit you back to screen. So I'm going to toggle back to white here for a second. And I'm going to go up here and see if I can clean that up a little bit more. I'm not sure what happened there, but that city needs to come in. Oh. I don't know what happened there. Maybe something in the picture. Well, that's okay. Okay, Control 0, zoom back out. I'm going to go to black one more time. I'm going to right bracket key and pull that shoe part on the inside back in. Okay, now I'm going to go back over to my opacity, and I'm going to crank this sucker back up to 100. So now I see the shoes are in the screen pretty good. And here's where I'm going to go around the outside of the edge now. And I'm just going to kind of go along the edge and try to clean that up a little bit better. Oop. Control Alt backspace, or Control Alt Z to back that up, or Control Z. I'm going to hit my X button because I want to be on white for this, because I want to make sure that it's all up front. I'm just going to clean it up around the edge. around here. Now down here, you're going to, you know, kind of just kind of fade that in a little bit. Just kind of squiggle. Make a little line down. I want to give it the option like it's sitting on something. Go around the edges still a little bit more. This is good. See where you can't really tell that's a box there anymore. It just looks like light. If you want to take this one step forward, you could go up to this opacity and bring it down about 37 and then just do like one click on there, maybe one click on there. And it kind of gets rid of the box but keeps the lines, because those, we're going to use those later for our light rays. And come back up here and go ahead and hit 100 again. Just keep going around the edge. You just want to clean it up the best you can. That looks pretty good. Clean right here, just a little bit. Next back. I'm going to bring that shoelace in just a little bit more. Touch that shoe. Okay, that's great. So I'm just going to color this in and make sure it's all colored in real quick. Just want to make sure it's as visible to the eye as it can be. Okay, great. Now that your shoes are in the foreground, we are going to bring the Converse logo up front. So we're going to click on Converse. And the first thing we're going to do here is, again, we're going to click on this little box. And we are going to go over to our rectangular marquee tool, but we're actually going to pick our elliptical marquee tool. We're going to click on that. And for this, you're going to hold the shift key down, and we're also going to toggle with the space bar, but you want to keep both of these bars held down at the same time. But to start, we're going to hold the shift key down, and we're going to click, and then we're going to drag this circle way out. And then we're going to hold the shift key down and press the space bar and move this circle around. See how it moves around but holds its space? By holding the shift key, you actually will hold a perfect circle. So do not let the shift key up, but let the space bar up, and then you can go back to being small or big. In this case, you want to come in right below the circle. So shift, bar, move the little circle around. Get as close as you can. This is a weird circle. It's not completely centered. Should probably let Converse know, but you know, I'm just picky about my circles, that's all. Okay, before you let this go, you're going to let your mouse click out first. So let your mouse go and then let your keys go. If you do it the opposite, you'll have to start over. So once that's selected, you're going to go ahead and click your move tool. This is what I was saying before. You could do a select all, and since I did the duplicate move layer section before, we're going to use the move tool this time. So go ahead and click on that. Come over here and left click and just drag that puppy up, and we're going to bring it right over the shoe layer. We're going to come right straight down and drop it right in there. And as you can see, it's super big and it created its own layer over here. So for this, we got to bring that down a little bit. So we're going to hit the Control T button, which is going to be for transform. And then you're going to hit the Shift button, and you're going to just drag this down. And by keeping your finger on the Shift button, it makes it completely square, a perfect square. You can let it up to move it around. And then we're just going to center this somewhere close to the shoe. We're actually going to go a little bit smaller, so Shift, and then a little bit smaller. We kind of want it the size of a moon. So, and we want it in line with these little rays of light is what I'm calling them. So it's kind of like shooting straight up. So we're going to go just move this a little bit up, and I'm going to make it just a smidge smaller. There we go. A little bit down. Kind of center it however you want. I think that looks pretty good. And then we're going to hit the check mark up here to commit, and then enter, or click on the layer here. And then once you have your Converse circle in place, you're going to go over to here, and we're going to click the new layer button. So go ahead and create a new layer. We're going to name this layer Light Rays. And while we're at it, if you want to go down to layer 2, we can name this Converse Moon. That sounds like a good name. So we're going to go back up here to our light rays. And here's where you're going to grab the light ray brush that you used. So we can go over to our brush and click on that. You can hit B on the keyboard, or you can right click. I like to right click because it's easier. I'm going to scroll down and find my light rays. I'm going to click on that. So it's pretty big, and that's fine. I want it to be a pretty good size. So what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to click one time. Oops. And it came out black, and we don't want black light rays, so I'm going to hit Control Z to go back one, and I'm going to hit the X button, and that's going to make my foreground white. I'm going to click one more time, and now that's pretty white. And just for the sake of this tutorial, I'm going to go back one more time and show you one more time. When you click here, you can Control Z to undo that. You're going to click 3 times without moving the mouse. So 1, 2, 3. We want those light rays pretty bright. So now we're going to hit Control T because we're going to change the direction that the light rays go. So we're going to hit our Shift button, and then we're going to go up here to the corner. We're going to drag that around. We're going to move these rays and do all sorts of fun things with them. So keep holding your Shift button down, and we're going to drag that right corner all the way in till it's super small. And then we're going to pick it up. And if it's still pretty square, you can adjust these sides like this, or, you know, what we want to do is give the effect that the light is shining up as a beam. So we're going to drag this out just a little bit, bring it up just a little bit. You just go ahead and adjust it however you want to. As long as it's kind of over these little rays here. And I know it's pretty dark right now, but we're going to adjust that in a second. So just kind of get it situated and kind of make it look like it's beaming up there. However you feel that you want it to look. Again, I'm kind of a perfectionist, so. Okay, once you have that centered, you're going to go ahead and hit the commit button. And then you're going to right click for your brush again and get your soft brush. Hit enter. Okay, we're going to go over here to light rays. And now what we're going to do is we're going to drag the Converse Moon layer on top of the light rays. Maybe. Or drag the light rays down. Sometimes it sticks. I don't know why it's not going. There we go. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. I'm going to bring my left bracket key. I'm going to bring my circle down here. Okay, so for this, we're actually going to click on the light rays again. We're going to bring this opacity down. Probably to about 33%. Maybe 34. That's kind of up to you how you want to do it. And we're actually going to, I'm not completely happy with the way those rays look, so I'm going to do a Control T again. I'm just going to adjust that just a little bit more. I kind of want it a little bit over the moon. up a little bit. Okay, that looks better to me. Oh, sorry, let's go a little more tilty. All right, commit. All right, perfect. So now we're actually going to add a layer mask to this too. So go ahead and click down here on your layer mask. And then we're going to go in here and we're actually going to clean this up a little bit. Make sure that you are on black, and remember that X toggles between black and white. We're just going to clean this area up around this a little bit. Clean up the shoe. I don't want it to be on the shoe. And that sets that little light right behind it. There we go. So there's our sunbeam, or moonbeams as I'm calling them. So once you have the moonbeams in place, the next thing we're going to do will be to clean up the bottom part, and we're going to add a little bit of fog down here. So let's do this. We're going to go ahead and click up here on the Converse moon section, and then what we're going to do here is we're going to merge a layer, and it's going to make one complete picture of everything that we've done. So you're going to do a Shift, Control, Alt, and then E, and that's going to create a complete picture of everything you've done so far, and we're going to work off of this. So you're going to go in here and click on your merge layer. I'm actually, oh sorry, cancel. I'm going to name this merge layer. Merge layer. And now what we're going to do is we're going to add some fun fog over to this area. So first things first is we're going to click on our quick selection tool. We're going to, quick selection tool. We're going to right click, pick that up. We're going to go in here and just highlight the bottom of the page. Kind of like we did in the beginning with the top, but only the bottom. So I went a little high here, so I'm going to hit my Alt key and bring this down. This does not have to be perfect, but if you can get it off the shoe, that's your best bet. We don't want a lot of the fog on the shoe. So I'm going to come down here. Just want to make sure it's on the carpet. Down here, back up here. I'm actually going to bring this down a little bit. Kind of like the building there. So then I'm going to follow this line. Could probably go up just a smidge here. Ah, that's too far. So Control Z, Alt to bring this down. Okay, for now that's pretty good. We have a pretty good outline. So we're going to go up here and we're going to go to Filter. I'm going to go to Blur. We're going to go to Gaussian Blur. We're going to click on this. And we don't want it super, super blurry, but we want it just a smidge blurry. So I'm thinking somewhere probably between 2 and 3. So we're going to go, let's just do like 2.9. We're going to hit OK to commit to that. And then we're going to hit Alt D to deselect our line. And that's pretty good blur. So I'm pretty happy with that. So once you have got your blur in place, we're actually going to go to New Layer down here. We're going to click on that. We're going to name this Fog. And now we're going to pick up our brush, clicking there, or right click, or hitting V on the keyboard. We want to get a white. So we're going to make sure it's on white. And for this, we're going to just make our brush fairly big, and we're just going to go in here and we're just going to go along the edge and just kind of fill this in white. We're just going to go right up in here and kind of fill this in. Now we're going to go to our opacity and we're going to bring this down somewhere around 36. Actually, this is at your discretion, whatever you think that you like the most. I like it a little more foggy, so I'm probably going to go with about 50%. And you could even go a little bit lower, maybe 48. I kind of like that. That looks pretty good. And then after that, we have one more step, and that's a crop. So go ahead and create your layer here. Double click on that. We're going to call this the crop. And then we're going to go over here to our crop tool, and we're going to click on that. And I'm just going to clean this up a little bit. I'm not going to make it too crazy. Just going to bring it in just a little. Maybe not so much that side as this side. Just come in a little bit, and then I'm going to hit commit. And, oh, I'm going to go back. Kind of went out there. Oh, I'm going to hit commit. And there you have it. Your shoes are in a beautiful portrait. And this is our composite. Now, if you want to adjust color and do some stuff to add a little drama here, you can. I don't necessarily want to add to this picture, but for the sake of the tutorial, we can go ahead and do that. So I'm going to make one more merged copy. So Shift, Control, Alt, and E. And here we go. I'm going to go up to Filter. I'm going to go to Camera Raw. I'm going to click on that. It's going to bring this into the screen here. And I'm just going to adjust the exposure down a little bit. I'm going to adjust the blacks and make them a little bit darker. Maybe bump up the contrast just a smidge. And maybe go ahead and bump up the clarity just a little bit. And then hit OK. Makes it a little bit, gives it a little bit more drama. You could even do a curves layer if you wanted to. Just pull it down a little bit. Maybe just add a little bit more. A little bit more. And then hit enter. Oh, sorry. And there you go. There is your composite. I just wanted to thank everyone, Photoshop 2 class at EMCC, for giving me the opportunity to do this tutorial, and most definitely for James Sasser for his amazing composite as well. Let me show you that one more time. And you can find him on Facebook at facebook.com/Sassafras Photography. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial as much as I've loved giving it, and good luck in your composite adventures.